Conversations with my mother. Conversations with my mother.
Hey ladies, welcome once again to Conversations with My Mother. This is my mother, Dr. Betty Burston.
And this is my daughter, Dr. Shatria Collier.
So I don't know if you remember, but last week we started a conversation about finances and the role that finances play in a relationship. And today we're going to pick up with that topic. And our focus today is, what is it, Mommy? Money or honey? Okay, so ladies, you know I like to start off with a reading before we get into our topic. Now, I just have to tell you, this issue of finances is definitely not one of my strengths. I'm good at generating finances, but I'm not necessarily good at managing finances, and we're going to get more into that a little bit later. So I just want to read this piece, and this is from the 7 Stages of Money Maturity. And my little sister Nonya gave me this book years ago, and if I were a good girl, I would have read it thoroughly, but I didn't necessarily read it as thoroughly as I should have. So my homework this week has been to sit down and get into this book, because some of the breakdowns I've had financially this week have just been blowing my mind. But that's okay, because it's only short term. It's all temporary. So this one is called, this section is Visions, Inner Wisdom. Excuse me, wisdom, yes. Vision is a type of wisdom. Whether we are rich or poor, vision reaches its fullness only where we no longer experience obstructions around money. We see our financial suffering clearly when it arises. We perceive its roots, that they are in pain and innocence, and through understanding know how to end it. We know with equal clarity the role money plays in our lives and the way to employ it vigorously in the pursuit of our most profound purposes. Seeking deeply without, we find good works to be done wherever we look. So what are your thoughts about that, Mommy?
I like that passage. One of the questions that you had asked me earlier is, are women, in my opinion, overly obsessed with the issue of money? They want honey. By honey, I mean love, the relationship, the mate. But for many women, in some respects, the money, the man's financial status becomes a major barrier. Do you think that that's true for your generation?
Well, you mean a barrier to what? In terms of marriage?
Yes.
Well, we were talking before about this whole idea of, I do think most women want some type of financial stability. I mean, there are women who would be considered gold diggers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there are just women who, for example, in my case, right? When I do meet and marry my beloved, I would like the option. Now, I have a pretty decent career and I enjoy what I do, but I would like the option of, if I would like to stay home with my children for the first few years of their life, I would like the option of being able to do that.
Okay. There's a reason that women tend to be so concerned with the money part of the honey and money equation. And one of those reasons is because historically women have not had institutional power. And as a consequence of that, they have always been very dependent upon, their mates for that. And even if you look today, when we have, as women have grown institutionally, you still know that males earn more than females. Even a male with the same degree. An African American male earns more than an African American female on average. And if you look at across ethnicities, this is true. Now, in terms of unemployment rates, the unemployment rates tend to be relatively comparable. But if you also look at labor force participation rates, men, whether they're African American, Caucasian, Asian, Latino, work more than women work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that has created this insecurity amongst women regarding finances. But the point that I take is that one of the things that is important for both men and women is for money to be invisible in one's life. So you can say, well, how is,
Yes,
how do
definitely.
you make
Please
it
tell us,
invisible?
how do we make money invisible?
By having enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not difficult to make money. First of all, one of the things that you and many women do is to rely upon labor as your primary source of income. So that's one of the first decisions that as young women that you may want to consider is not being reliant only upon labor income. There are several what we call factors of production. Labor is only one of them. And it's not just, as I said, women, it's also men. We can earn income through stocks and bonds and finances. We can earn income through businesses, even if there are many micro businesses.
Like
we can,
starting our own businesses?
Starting our own businesses. We can earn income through rent, and rent doesn't just mean the income one receives from property. If you wrote a book, you're a wonderful writer. If you wrote a book and you marketed that book, that income is considered as being rent, because rent is a return to any fixed resource. You notice once you've written that book, you no longer have to work anymore. I don't mean work at a job. I meant work in terms of other than marketing the book, because the book becomes a fixed source of income. So one of the first things that women may want to do to begin making money invisible in your life so that money becomes less of a barrier in selecting your honey is to create multiple income streams.
But can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Because I do feel like, I know a lot of women out there who do very well for themselves.
You're talking about a job, though. See, one of the things we got to get away, you are never going to do very well for yourselves in a job. The highest paid jobs are physicians. And even physicians make, well, I shouldn't say that. Executives of large corporations are very highly paid. But those executives are not just employees. They're part owners, you see. But in terms of jobs, it's physicians. And physicians now make, even a surgeon probably barely makes $300,000 a year. And $300,000 a year is not, quote, a lot of money. So
now entrepreneurship is hard, though.
Of course it's hard. That's why many people don't do it. But the thing is that we spend a lot of time gossiping. We spend a lot of time worrying about what the honey is doing. We spend a lot of time chit-chatting. If we would take some time, every single woman should know how to read the stock page. Every single woman should track some stocks, because we have something that's very unique. You have to have accurate knowledge, but we also have that feminine intuition. So if you combine that, it gives us an uncanny ability to select good mutual funds or good stocks. Do you see?
Because we're over our time limit. So you know what? We're gonna have to do a part 2 for this. We love you, Empresses. We'll talk to you soon. Mwah.
Please send us your opinions, because I want to know what you...
Exactly. Okay.
Conversations with my mother.